Landlord snaps. Tenants that were not paying their rent were the victims. Hey, everybody. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more stories come out. Things like this. Things where a landlord, a homeowner, just gets to the end of their rope. Now, this is out of Albany, New York. An Albany landlord tied up evicted sleeping tenants, dumping them in the cemetery. Now, luckily, he didn't injure them, thankfully, but he's already going to be in big trouble. He is up on kidnapping charges, and the tenants were bound with zip ties, tape, with pillowcases tied over their heads. And after he tied them up, he drove them to a rural cemetery and left them in the snow. The 48-year-old landlord, Sean Douglas, was armed with a self-defense unit. In this case, a self-offense unit. He didn't use it for self-defense. And he received assistance from two other suspects. So they're all going to be up on kidnapping charges. And the alleged kidnapping occurred between 1 and 8 a.m. on Sunday. The incident began at a multi-unit Grandview Terrace residence where Douglas had his two tenants reside on the city's south end. Douglas, whose police records indicate has been arrested previously for charges ranging from assault to violation of an order of protection, has owned the residence since 2006. How does someone this crazy actually end up buying a home and owning a home? Oh yeah, even crazy people can get loans. That's right, I forgot. The tenants were 21-year-old and a 32-year-old man, and they could not be reached for comment. So I'm thinking we're going to start seeing a lot more stories similar to this. Imagine owning a home, you have non-paying tenants, you cannot evict those tenants, and maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you have, even if it's paid off, maybe you have other maintenance and upkeep that you're not able to complete. Maybe you can't pay your taxes. Maybe you can't pay your HOA fee, whatever it is. There's a lot of different ways you can get your home taken from you. The bank, the HOA board can sue you. Unpaid taxes, they'll put a lien on your home and take it from you. Right? A lot of different ways you can lose the home. You can even have a maintenance lien put against your home. All right, a lot of different things can happen. So obviously this landlord was in a bit of a spot here, a stressful situation. Now, I never condone, don't kidnap your tenants. If they don't pay, do not put a pillowcase over their head and tape it on and tie up their hands. Do not do that. On the other hand, though, we have to ask ourselves, this financial situation right now, where you have millions of people that are not paying their rent, things are going to happen, and we're going to see stories like this unfold. But what other events are we going to see? How bad is this going to get? There's already been an uptick in depression, mental illness, people getting more medications, if you can believe that. I mean, half the country was on medication even before this shutdown recession. Is it going to be 80%, 90% of America is going to be on some sort of prescription after this? Right? Is it going to be lines around the block at every CVS and Walgreens pharmacy? The story continues. Douglas had grown frustrated because he could not evict his tenants because of the restrictions. Law enforcement sources said the tenants were both sleeping at the time, and he's accused of attacking them and tying them up during the sleep. They were then tied up and taken to an isolated cemetery where he left them tied up in the snow and drove away and left. Douglas was arrested Monday afternoon and arraigned on charges of second-degree kidnapping. He's being held at Albany County Jail Tuesday with a $50,000 bond. Right, and I'm going to be reporting on these as they unfold. I'm thinking we're going to see a lot worse than this unfold, where people actually do get severely injured or they lose their life. Sadly, this is what it's going to come to. And events are going to continue. Things are going to get worse. Crime is going to increase. People snapping and losing it. It's going to increase. Right? So far, what we've seen here with all the bailouts and the stimulus and the support programs, that has prevented what probably would have been millions of more situations like the one we're reporting on here. But just wait until the debt machine slows down or something happens, and this whole system of debt and market propping and false economic programs are slowed or pulled back, right? You're going to see a major, major painful correction. And we all need to prepare. We all need to really think hard about our safety, not just around other people, but also just the elements, the weather. Let Texas be a warning. What happened in Texas? Let that be a warning. A lot of people move to Texas from California and the West Coast and other expensive cities. They move there for freedom. Well, there's no state that has complete freedom. You're going to be under the thumb of the debt machine no matter where you go, right? It's always something. But Texas was going to be a little lower cost, a little more freedom, less restrictions, less crowded, right? Deep in the heart of Texas. But so many people were not prepared. And even as of right now, people are in a very dire situation in Texas and other parts of the country. And it's just going to continue to get worse. Keep preparing, folks. This economic recovery, it is a lie. They'll point at the unemployment number. They'll point at the GDP. But those are not real good indicators, right? So you send out more stimulus checks, and that's going to make the GDP look better when people go out and spend it, right? Not good. Right? We don't have any real manufacturing here. It's been mostly wiped away and sent somewhere else overseas, offshore. We are a service sector, consumption economy in the United States full of what a lot of people in the U.S. are obese. And the fact that when people go out and buy food, that contributes to the GDP and corporate earnings, it should really scare you. It should really scare you that that type of activity is considered economic growth. But that's what they tell us is economic growth. But you all are smarter than that. You know what's really happening. And, I'd have to say keep your eye on the ball and keep preparing, because this thing is going to get nastier and nastier. And we're going to stop this report right here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now.